What's happening, guys? JD at JD's Custom Buggies. So I want to tell you a tale of two KFXs. Last year, if you remember, there was a couple of videos on a project KFX, and I kind of got shelved only because of time. And we bought a track, and then we've been spending a lot of time in Tennessee trying to get this track ready. So everything kind of got pushed off. So I want to say it was back in October, November, soon after we'd been to the track a couple times. I kind of liked the KFX because it was a narrower bike than like a YFC, and it had reverse. And there was a lot of trails up there that I have to cut in the woods and clean up. So I thought a good test bike, like a do-all bike, would be another KFX. Something that I would keep the stock with, that had reverse, that was jump capable. So working on a track, I could try it out on a track if I wanted to. I could take it in the woods if I wanted to. And went on Facebook Marketplace, and there was quite a few of them there, and they were averaging between 4,000 and 4,500, and quite a few of them were a couple hour trip to, if I was going to go look at look at these bikes, and found one that was basically between my house and the shop. So the pictures of it look good. I figured it was a logical choice. I don't have to drive a whole bunch. I could just pick it up on the way to the shop and take it right to the shop. So I called the guy, got with him, went over and saw the bike, and he told me the only thing, he just had the motor rebuilt, and the only thing wrong with the bike is that it smoked at like wide open throttle. And so I was like, all right, he's like, it probably needs to be tuned. I got a new intake on it, the motor's been freshly rebuilt, blah, blah, blah. Had aftermarket exhaust on it. So I was like, all right, let me go look at this thing. So I go and look at it, and he starts it up for me, and it gave him a little bit of a hard time starting up, and when he got it started, pretty much smoked from the get. And stuck my finger in the muffler and a bunch of oil in there, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know who built this motor for you, but she needs work. So after some negotiation or whatnot, he gave me, he knocked $1,000 off of it. He wanted $400 for it. He said, well, you take it for $300 just so it's out of my hair. And I'm like, I might give you $25 for it because it had some good parts on it, and I figured it was just top end work that needed to be done. So he agreed. We loaded it up and called my buddy Matt at Matt Sarmiento, Sarmiento Motorsports, and kind of told him what I got. He's like, yeah, bring it on by. I'll take a look at it. Got the bike over there. And here we are. That was last October of 23. And as soon as he started working on it, we were finding all kinds of things wrong with it. And I just told him, listen, man, just go through it, take your time. I'm not in a rush for this bike. Just, do your big jobs and whatnot that you got to do. When you get a chance and you have a free moment, work on this one. And what are we in? The end of July. And last weekend we got to see this bike on a track for the first time. He had gotten it done, I think my last trip to Tennessee was around July 4th, the first 2 weeks of July. And he had sent me dyno charts after he finally got it to run on a dyno. He had tried to put this on the dyno 4 other times, and each time something spontaneously went bad on it. One issue was we tried to put a 490 big bore kit from Athena on there. I picked it up on eBay. It is hard to find KFX parts, some of them. So we kind of toyed with the idea of putting a 490 big bore kit in it. Unfortunately, the cylinder that we got wasn't true. It had a head gasket leak, or they weren't made up right. So he took it on the dyno, and she was running really lean, probably from the massive vacuum leak between the head and the cylinder. But then it was basically just finding water in the motor. So we decided to opt and just go with a stock OEM KFX cylinder. And so I ordered one of those, and when I asked them, because they were selling them with different pistons, what ratio, I misunderstood him when he said anything lower than 13:1, which I took as 13:1 and lower. So I ordered him a OEM cylinder kit with a 13:1 piston in it, and then he called me up and he's like, I'm a little concerned about running it with pump gas, compression wise. Do you want to order a different piston? I'm like, no, just put it on race gas. So I asked him if we could run it on VP 110 because that's what I used in the buggy. And he said, yeah, we could do that. And so coincidentally, my YFZ was over there because Matt had made an intake shootout. So I said, well, go ahead and put the YFC on 110 too and retune that. So he did that. So now everything runs on 110. So that was the solution to that. He finally got the motor going, got it on a dyno. I went with a Yoshi exhaust on it because it needed a new exhaust pipe, and it was the only one out of my circle of benders that would fit the KFX, so I put a Yoshi on it. He tuned it with that, and we got 45 horsepower out of it and 32 on the torque. So that was kind of cool. So he was surprised by the torque. He thought when he drove, if you look in the past videos, when the first Project KFX video, it was the first time he had been on a track on a KFX, and he mentioned that the motor seemed to be just a little bit torqueier than a Yamaha out of the box. So we had a race coming up at Lacey Springs, the last MBX race, and it just so happened he doesn't live far from Lacey Springs, so he opted to bring both bikes out, and he wanted to kind of take some laps on both of them just to see how they were. The YFZ because he just retuned it, and this one because we were all curious about this one. It just so happens that both the buggies and the quads had to do a makeup round. So after practice, we ended up doing rounds of one round of racing each, buggies and quads, and then we were going to turn around and race the next day on Sunday, our normal round. So we got to talking, and it looked so good at practice. He was curious to see if he'd get a couple of hole shots on this racing the other guys. Now, mind you, compared to the normal MX quads, tires are a lot bigger. We got 22s in the front, we got 20s in the rear. The stance of the bike is literally 2 inches inboard of your typical MX quad. MX quad is wider. It runs 20s in the front, for track use, and usually run 18s in the rear. So it's higher center of gravity and a lot bigger tire and not as wide. So basically the quad as it sits is outgunned compared to your typical race quad. Needs a lot of work done to it. It needs to be widened and both front and rear. So we do have some video of Matt actually going out there for 2 motors and taking hole shots in both of them, which was pretty impressive. The other thing, it was outgunned motor-wise. So a lot of them quads. My YFC, without any motor work, is turning 50 right now on VP 110. We know for a fact because he built one of the motors. One of the guys out there had a motor that's 55 horsepower. This is only 45, so outgunned motor-wise too, but it had enough torque, enough experience of a rider that it did pull 2 hole shots. So we were all kind of giddy about that. So it was kind of fun. I got some video of that I'm going to share with you. We had some issues. The guy, what you think of after the fact, one round of practice, I noticed he's going real slow and couldn't figure out why. It's because the guy had motorcycle grips on the quad, and one of the grips spun and hung up the throttle. So the throttle got hung up on the grip, so he had to kind of push it back. So he's basically going around the track with like a quarter throttle the whole way around. So we fixed that. I ended up going to the parts trailer, looking for lock-on grips, couldn't find them. So we tried to safety wire these Scott grips on there the best we could, and they started slipping. This one's kind of hanging off. We're going to cut these off and replace them with some OD lock-ons. But all in all, it was a pretty cool day. Really impressed. Need to do a couple of things. Notice the steering stem is a little loose, so I have a fix coming in for that, waiting for the parts on that. Definitely have to fix the grips. I have a new bumper for the front of it, and I have some Forworks carbon parts and a new seat cover coming for it. And she's ready to go to Tennessee. The bike came with DWT lock-on or bead lock wheels. So that was cool. I did have to replace the rears because whoever had the bike before either re-drilled or wallowed out the holes, so I didn't feel good with that, so I did order some new rears on it. And then I ended up just buying green bead lock rings just to see how they looked on there. So really happy with the bike. Can't wait to take it to Tennessee and do some test riding with it. So that brings us to KFX number 1, which, like I said, we have done a couple videos on it. But the reason why I haven't done any work on this one is because what we wanted to do, talking to Matt, is we wanted to get a stock dyno reading before we touched anything. So Matt's done, I think, 2 separate dynos on bone stock YFZs, came right from the dealership, right to the dyno with the gas that they gave him and everything. And basically, one of them turned 33 horsepower out of the box, and I think his last one, which is a 24, got 34 horsepower. So, and they're basically the same bike. I forget what the other year was. I think it was a 22. But they're basically the same bike. Just goes to show you how different 2 motors can be. Exactly the same coming from a factory. Even the motors I built for the buggies, you know, there's no, motors are like pets almost. Each one's got its own personality, does things differently. So you just basically have to tune it to, you know, get it to do what you want it to do. But each one will take different tuning, whether it's different jets or whatnot. Every motor is just a little bit different. So now that bike is 90% done, we're going to work on this bike, and this bike's going to be a complete MX bike. So the goal behind that, and the reason why I bought this bike to begin with, was because I wanted to see, now that I had some seat time on a YFZ, could a KFX 450 hang? So we don't know. We're going to find out. We're going to find out, and there's going to be a lot of work that needs to be done with this bike, parts-wise, to actually get it to be YFZ competitive. And for one, we got to order arms to widen it. Was going to try and fabricate some arms, but between the move and everything, I don't have the time. I might toy around with the other bike if I want to try different shocks, but for right now, I ordered some roll design +2, so it should widen it by 2 inches. But the other thing is you have to think about when you widen the front, we also got to widen the back because the axle's narrow also. So I do have a Durablu Eliminator axle that just came in. So we're going to have to wait on the arms, but there's some other stuff that we can do. So definitely got to widen the stance, got to change the suspension all the way around. Fox floats, we're going to use Fox floats in the front. Did such a great job with the YFZ. And the weight savings of the Fox float compared to a conventional shock, that I figured we'd just go floats on the front. I ended up buying Elka Stage 3s for this one. That was what we did the night before we were at the track. It didn't make a huge difference. They're probably not MX track shocks, grade shocks. They make excellent buggy shocks though. But they're good for an all-around woods riding bike if you want like superior type suspension on it. But you have to take into consideration the weight that you have with the spring and everything. Your average shock probably weighs somewhere, performance shock probably weighs, I want to say anywhere between 6 to 8 pounds, and the Fox floats are just naturally lighter. So going to use the floats on the front. I did get an Elka 5 for the rear. The 5s are more adjustable than the 3s are. So I figured for MX purpose, that's going to be the way to go. Matt right now is working on ordering a pipe for this. We're gonna go with RP like we did with the YFZ. We're not sure if a year ago they had it on their website, now they don't. He's gonna make an inquiry to see if they still make KFX exhaust pipes for these. If not, I'm probably gonna go with Rossier. Nerf bars, gonna get Rath bars for this. I don't like the Alba bars that are on that one. And these Tusk half Nerf bars with the stock plastic heel guards. The switching over, you know, when we had the YFZ, when we switched over to Rath bars, it just gives you a lot more confidence. The nice thing of the monster pegs is the pegs go all the way to the outer part, so if your foot comes off the peg, no matter where, you don't have to worry about them missing. So there's plenty of peg on there. So once we get those ordered and whatnot, I spoke to him on the phone, so that's something that's in progress. What we do have coming in should keep us busy because the axle's here. We've got to change the axle out, the arms. Hopefully they'll get shipped soon. We already got our Forworks carbon hood, and that's another thing. you just want to look at the difference between, so that's the stock KFX plastics right there. And this is just adding the carbon, the Forworks carbon hood. I do have that coming for this one. It's just a look, it looks so much better. They're a little pricey or whatnot, but they are made out of real carbon fiber, but just worth it just to get the bike to look a little meaner. That's pure aesthetics right there. Tires and wheels are getting changed out. We're gonna go with DWTB locks all the way around. 10s in the front, 8s in the rear. Probably gonna change out for Max's tires all the way around, Max's razors. Seat, we're gonna shave the seat. Actually, we're gonna shave the seat on both of them, and that's because I'm so short. But these KFXs, they do feel higher than the YFC. The seat's a lot thicker or whatnot. So we're gonna shave the seat down. That's why we have the new seat covers coming. And the other thing that bike has that this one doesn't, and that's the way I bought that bike, is that bike seems to have a 1-inch risen steering stem, and also has precision shock absorbing. I have that on the YFC, shock absorbing stem, which does help with fatigue. So I went ahead and we have an LSR stem coming for this one. And what was the other thing? And it just said occurred to me. Oh, the other thing, and it's probably going to be the last thing we do, is both bikes. I'm going to have to order steering stabilizers for them. Not so much that one, but this one definitely, if it's getting track use all the time, definitely going to get a precision steering stabilizer for this. I put it on the YFC and that made a huge difference. So then there's things that just need to be stripped down. Park and brake assembly needs to go. Hopefully getting the bars up and the seat down will make it feel better. That bike feels a little better because of the risen stem. So hopefully shaving the seat down will make it seem a little bit lower to the ground also. We did buy lowering links that we are tempted to try. I'm probably going to try it on that bike and see how it does. And just to get it down a little bit, there's some subframe stuff I was thinking about doing it to lower, but a lot of it's going to have, to do with time and how much play time I have to put into these, you know, in between jobs. But most likely, if we do a subframe deal, it'll be most likely on this one, just to get the tail end of the quad down a little bit. So that's where we're at for now. From here, we're gonna go take this guy to the dyno and see how we do. We're gonna load it up, take it over to Matt, and do some dyno passes and whatnot, and see how she makes out stock. And then once we do that, then it's basically game on. We can start tearing it apart. That's the only reason I haven't touched the bike yet. So let's load her up and we'll get the mats. All right, so we did such a good job with the other bike. We're getting back on this one now. Now we got some free time, some renewed interest. So this is going to be the MX version. So what we're doing now is Matt has never dynoed Kawasaki before, not stock. So this is the last opportunity. We're going to have to basically dyno a stock. I almost want to say buggy, but quad KFX. So we're just getting the tires. He wanted to do it on the stock tires, just as it came from the factory. He did this with his Yamahas that he's gotten from, right from the dealership. And what'd you get on the Yamaha? 33?
33 was the worst. 34 is the best. So.
Okay, so that's out of two different Yamahas, right from the dealership. So I don't know. We'll take guesses. What are you thinking? You had the opportunity to ride this once on the track, so.
To me, it felt, now knowing at least the curve with your other one, but again, I've never seen the curve with one of these. I think torque-wise might be better. Maybe 25, 26 torque horsepower. I would say probably anywhere maybe 32 to 33. That's what my guess is. The Yamaha was a little weak on torque though, and this was better when I rode your other one. I raced your other one. So
you think a better torque number than the Yamaha?
I think better torque number.
Right around the same horsepower.
Right, roughly around the same. That's what I believe. So.
Okay. Torque, I don't know. Torque. I'm gonna go with your number because I don't know any better. Horsepower. I'm gonna give Team Green the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna say 34.
34. Okay, 34. Okay, that's good. That's a good number.
You want to take a guess, Ben? Ben says no. I don't want to take a guess.
Not even close. He's not in on this. We're not doing bets.
Ben's too busy.
He's too busy. I like it. I like it a lot.
So we were talking about the other bike before, how it was a nightmare. But
to say the least.
yeah,
The other bike was a project.
the other bike was a project.
Oh.
But were you surprised with the number, or did you figure?
Well, so what my surprise was, I was like, okay. I mean, again, it wasn't supposed to be nothing crazy because, like you said, you're taking it to Tennessee. The torque curve on it was great.
Okay.
So torque-wise was fantastic, and the results proved itself also racing. You know, that was a complete fun race. Nothing intended. I mean, in fact, I didn't even think I was gonna race that day till like, hey man, I'll sign you up. Like, okay, whatever. You know, I just went for it. Yeah, I was like, all right, practice felt good. So the torque curve. So what was nice on this, and maybe the easy way for most people to think about it is like a 2004, 2005 TRX 450. You know, loads of torque on the bottom, tons of torque. You know, great torque, snappy, and like it really pulls so hard. Let's think, okay, this is great. You can see it pulling away. So the torque curve was a lot like that, but yet then with the added benefit of fuel injection, so it carried through steadily. So that is what was the surprise. Okay, this is pretty good. And also too, even though it was, you know, with big tires with 22s on it, it turned great.
Yeah, we handicapped the hell out of it.
So. Yeah, I mean, so it definitely was not an MX bike. Was not even close. But pulled both starts, and granted, I haven't pulled a start. I've never used one of these for a start. So there's that. That was my first time. That was uncharted territory. That was my first time doing ever a start on a Kawasaki. Pulled both starts. Pulled away great. It's just the turns, that's all, because I didn't have the, you know, it's not an MX bike. Simple. No. It's just that
big tires, not as wide.
Not as wide.
Not low to the ground.
Nope. But I mean, wasn't trying to battle nobody. Just kept it safe. Just kept it fun, and I had no problem where I was.
Right.
All I had to do was just keep on feeding it gears and feeding it gas, and she was pulling. That was his main advantage. Is I could stay in a high gear, and she just kept on torquing, just keep on pulling.
Pleasant surprise. The right bike set up the right way.
Yeah, and it wasn't set up the right way. So. No. But it jumped out of the start, especially the second moto. They are very fortunate. It was such a short start. But in the longer, I guarantee I could have definitely pulled more length than that.
Right,
so
right,
it literally just jumped out of the box and kept going. So it was a massive jump. So.
And yeah, both videos look good. You coming out of the gate and just like.
Yeah. And that's. I haven't done a whole shot in a year. Nope. Not even a practice, not even nothing. So I've never done one on one of these, and that was my first time in a year. Complete. So,
might have to get yourself a.
I mean, maybe, or maybe, I don't know, maybe, you know, maybe, or maybe a project, maybe a Suzuki or something that came from Suzuki. So I like the bottom end, just like the LTR, and I like that it had a good mix of overall. The bottom was incredible. That part I cannot express. So the torque numbers were what I normally see when you start to see like in the 50s on a Yamaha. With that bike makes 45 but 32 torque.
Right.
And for what it was, nothing crazy special.
Yeah, because my other bike, the Yamaha, we got it up to 50 horsepower, right? Just about.
Yep. And
32 torque.
Right.
So
exactly.
A little more horse, but the same torque.
But the same torque, and the torque comes in initially right from the bottom.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see what this whole girl could do. I don't know. I mean, it might be surprising, or who knows?
Well, we did it backwards, but it would be interesting to see the stock one there.
Wow. The other one wasn't. The other one was
The other one we couldn't dyno. It was such a mess.
Yeah. No. That thing definitely coolant bled all over the place. It leaked everywhere. It was bad. And then I fixed one thing, and something else would go. So and again, you know, you didn't know, I didn't know, and hindsight, you know.
It'd be funny because I'd be up in Tennessee and it'd be like 9 o'clock at night, and now you get a message and be like,
yeah. We need some more parts, man.
And I'm at date in a hotel room all by myself because they ever didn't go. Can you order another cylinder?
Yeah.
I'm on my phone.
And that I believe that as far as like the cylinder, again we were just throwing ideas there with the big bore. I think the cylinder is defective because literally you can you can see the cylinder one side of it, like when they machined it cockeyed.
Yeah.
So one side of it is leaking combustion gases. Yeah. So that wasn't the bike's fault, but the original, with the guy who had it before, it was bad. It was rough. Yeah. Oh, it was rough. Poor thing. She had a hard life. Well, this one's smooth. We'll see what she does.
Yeah, this one's a cream puff compared to what the other one went through.
And then so this one is the first one I've ever rode on a track. So before my knee surgery. Yep. And I was actually pretty surprised at it. It did good. It actually was, for being stock, wasn't bad. The other one with this, and again, I know we literally just threw on tires and suspension the night before. The suspension did help, especially the extra travel in the front. That I can assure you, especially with it when it got really rough and loamy, the extra travel in the front with the longer shocks.
Right.
made a big difference. So again, not for MX, but for what it wasn't bad though.
It was just an improvement over stock.
It was a big improvement over stock. Well, what it had on there, 'cause those were rough.
Yeah, those shocks were rough.
They were hurting, man. So I think after fuel system, injector, shocks,
Tuner?
tuning, and then the tuner.
New tuner?
Well, that was the other thing. The tuner, it had the
Fan relay?
yeah, tracking down the overheating. Came down to just a fan relay, which it was just finding information for the thing too to test it good. A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Poor thing. And then timing chain. And another time I had on the dyno, I started hearing chain rattle. And I was like, man, you know. And then the fact that the cases were mauled up already. So then you sent me the stuff. The Alamar.
Yep.
I was like, dude, this thing is not gonna hold. And that was 90% of the leaks right there. That's another big chunk of the leak. So.
And that cured it.
Yeah, it sure did. Either new cases or that. And I definitely used it very sparingly.
$25 tube of Hylamar is much better.
It sure was. It definitely went a long way.
Better economic solution.
And did it leak yet or no?
Nope.
It leaked, no?
I haven't seen it drop yet, but it's been sitting in the trailer, so I gotta go look at it.
I'm sorry, man. I gave you back an extra dirty bike, so you know.
I think it was worth it.
It was worth it. The starts were worth it, man. And I think that was the whole thing we said was if we could just pull some starts, that'd be pretty impressive. So. And definitely the fastest guy out there had a 55 horsepower machine, and you know, the 10 horses down. And all the guys that were there, they were in the 50s. So, and I know because they've been here for me too.
Yes.
So I know that. So everybody had every.
Oh, I know what a couple of guys got, and you were in front of them. So
it was fun. I was looking for power command. That's right. This has nothing on. This is stock.
This is stock.
But what I do gotta say is the stock ECU on this is pretty good, especially when I rode this one. And so tuning it, the sharpness was even better. But the stock ECU on this is better than the YFZ. More responsive, has less dead spots in it. So they didn't do a bad job on these. Just like the LTR. The LTR actually has a pretty good ECU. It's the same on these. So if you already have a good base, and yeah, they don't have Vortex. So the best thing was PC6. So the Dynajet, dealer obviously I could tune that, and it came out good. Really good. Fantastically good, actually. So that's it. We'll see what this one does, right? What were we saying for numbers again? I said what, 32, 34? So okay.
I said 34. It's like the price is right. I'm just giving him more credit than.
All right, I'll stay with that 32, 33. And Ben's saying 40. That's
big 4-0.
Well, we'll just throw Ben out there, just to throw him out there. And it is definitely a little warm in here. I think it's 93 degrees in here, but this is good because it's 47% humidity. So the humidity, so 93 degrees, 47% humidity. Probably that fan isn't helping us for our audio. Didn't think about that. Give me one sec. Fine. I want to find your other one. Where I finished up with your other one. Yeah, this is how I could tell I was having problems with your other ones. So look at how scattered the dyno was. It was just everywhere.
Oh, it's all over the place.
Everywhere. It was so horrible. I mean, it was bad, man. And then as it got worse, I think that's the best I saw was 41 horse on with the big bore setup.
Right.
So it wasn't doing good, and then it started progressively getting worse and worse. And oh man, wait, we got a problem. We got a major problem here. And then obviously they exploded coolants on me, and it's okay. And then the other one, see, this is the other one. Well, once we went back to 450, I definitely put. Once we got it going, and they started getting the time, she started, behaving with me, and then tuning it down, all that good stuff. That's not it. That's your YFZ. I should probably start numbering this a little better. And your YFZ, I definitely put a lot of time into that. Well, the last time I tuned your YFZ, oh, that's the wrong speed. I was like, what the heck is wrong? Did I say it? Oh. It's on my other computer. That's why these numbers aren't going out right. So because the PC6 software is
gotcha.
on, right, so I have to change computers. This computer won't run the new software. So maybe I'll grab the other computer a little later so I can show you the dyno graph. This is all your YFZ. That's like, what the heck is going on here? Go to 5. So 5, that's the other KFX. That's it right there. So I mean, the power curve isn't bad. See, it's nice and steady, and then it starts to taper off. And around 9, that's where she doesn't get so happy. So she does kind of have a little hard drop to have more like a nice rainbow arch to it.
Right.
But I mean, all the above. But there's the torque curve. Look at how much torque rolls in on that sucker. That's what I'm saying.
Huge.
That's what I'm saying. I know at $6,000, it's almost at its max torque, and it's still holding that torque, and it's still pulling. But I mean, $6,000, we're already right there at 31. So and it just keeps on pulling. That's what I mean. The torque is just like bang, it's right there. We're already in the upper 20s, so right there at 5, we're already at like 29, almost 29. And it's a big surge of torque, and again, watching the track,
Right.
that's how we see all that. So, alright, so right computer now. Dyno seems to be happier.
Working.
It's working for right now. But we'll roll with that. And we'll just start a new one for Jade. KFX. Start you a fresh one. And let's make sure our electronics are live. Great. Display. Question is, what is the RPMs on this thing?
One thing, she left wire and slicks on it.
And our cord's still jumping in there a little bit. Wasn't too happy, so. Don't care about that. What do you think it makes? Wait till the compression takes off.
Yeah, 'cause I can't see that from here, so. Which line is which?
That's a great question. Probably had to hook up to the coil on the actual coil leads because it was a little jumpy, so that's okay.
Is the oh, you don't know?
No, I know the power, but the RPM reading is a little bad.
The bottom line is the horsepower?
Yeah, the bottom line is the horsepower. And the top line is the torque, and then they intersect like at 7 grand. Then the torque kicks over, and then so this thing is got a wow.
What did you say, 25?
So I was definitely closer as far as horsepower. It made 31.24 horses.
Okay.
So, and 24 foot-pounds of torque. So that's why I thought it'd be a little bit better on the torque than the YFZ.
Right.
And it was. That's why I felt they didn't feel bad, but horsepower is definitely way down. Way down.
And what's the torque on a stock YFZ?
I have seen 24, but it's normally between like 22, 23 torque.
Okay.
So it's a little torqueier, but less horsepower.
Right.
So, like I said, the worst I've seen was 33, and this one made 31.24.
And would the coil leads have anything to do with that or no?
No, the drums and server is just picking up a better curve. So we could do that. We could reset that and give it another pass. You know, just best out of a couple passes and then go from there. Yeah, for all fairness.
So she's in the pocket.
She is in the pocket. Not bad. This is a 12, right?
Yes.
Just like your YFZ, okay.
Yep.
And air and fuel, super lean.
Really?
Like like it's off the scale. It doesn't start to show some gas until like 6,000 RPM. It is so lean. That's scary. That's just the way they go. Most of them. That's why they're so choked from factory. Yeah, that's over 18. It can't even read no more. That's how lean it was. That's crazy. So already right off the rib, and that's why some people say, which is true. Like even like on an LTR, so bikes in the same period, the YFZ, the LTR, the Kawasaki. The moment you actually drop in a tuner, even completely stock, it makes a big difference.
And she's that lean with the lid on.
With the lid on. Wow. Well, and the Yamaha is too as well. The Yamaha comes in, it is screaming lean. It's like wow, and that's why especially like all the internet, my pipe's glowing. It's this, it's that. Well, yeah, because the thing is all air. It has no gas. It's just enough to keep it running, just to idle.
So if we did a pass with the lid off, it would get leaner.
Leaner, yes. It might show more horsepower.
More horsepower.
But we can, but whatever,
I'd be curious. Do one more pass stock, and then we'll try with the lid off.
Yeah, let me get the right leads on this thing.
Yeah.
Might have to take the tank, loosen the tank to get to it, but just if I can reach it from underneath and go from there. Fine. I want to find your other one. Where I finished up with your other one. Yeah, this is how I could tell I was having problems with your other ones. So look at how scattered the dyno was. It was just everywhere.
Oh, it's all over the place.
Everywhere. It was so horrible. I mean, it was bad, man. And then as it got worse, I think that's the best I saw was 41 horse on with the big bore setup.
Right.
So it wasn't doing good, and then it started progressively getting worse and worse. And oh man, wait, we got a problem. We got a major problem here. And then obviously they exploded coolants on me, and it's okay. And then the other one, this is the other one. Once we went back to 450, I definitely put. Once we got it going, and they started getting the time, she started behaving with me, and then tuning it down, all that good stuff. That's not it. That's your YFZ. I should probably start numbering this a little better. And your YFZ, I definitely put a lot of time into that. Well, the last time I tuned your YFZ, oh, that's the wrong speed. I was like, what the heck is wrong? Did I say it? Oh. It's on my other computer. That's why these numbers aren't going out right. So because the PC6 software is
gotcha.
on, right. So I have to change computers. This computer won't run the new software. So I'll grab the other computer a little later so I can show you the dyno graph. This is all your YFZ. That's what the heck is going on here. All right.
Rocking to Mickey Thompson.
Got the Mickey going. horses with the dyno tires.
Really?
Yeah. And two solid foot-pounds of
So
torque.
originally 31, so you're up to 36-ish?
38.
38.
Right, obviously with the right tires. But, you know, we're using the tires you're supposed to have, but still. So that's about in the same territory as a YFZ.
Okay.
That's about what it makes with the Vortex. So, no, the stock ECU on this is better. There's no way around it. It is better.
So you're saying 38 horsepower stock YFZ
With dyno tires.
Vortex?
Yes, with the dyno tire, yes.
With the tires.
So probably with the Vortex, just like how we had the lid off, if there was already like PC6 on this,
Right.
just to help it out a little bit, we would have seen, you know, probably still with the stock tires, probably more like 35 instantaneously. So, but I mean, just from taking the lid off, that was like right there in the same ballpark. But it's already beating the YFZ on torque. So,
What you got for torque?
oh, 27. But I mean, it was already beating it from the first pass.
Right.
I mean, it's like a measly, I think like 22, 23 foot-pounds of torque on the YFZ. It's bad. It's really bad. It's horrific. So, right, this motor is a better torque-producing motor already. It's not a high horsepower motor, and you can see it. And I felt it too. I'm pretty sure you saw that. So the dyno tires, now you can feel more what's happening. And
You can hear it now.
You can hear the motor. Right at about 7.5. That's about all she's got, you know. And you'll see, then just like what it's showing there on the graph, you know, then it drops on power. You can actually feel the suspension on the bike letting go. Where the Yamaha doesn't stop to like 10,000.
Right.
But again, that's after a vortex.
Where is this peaking out at?
Peak? It's about 7.5. So that's where it's best power, and then it's very scattered after that.
Right.
So the potential's there. So realistically, your other bike, stock, you know, dyno tires, that's literally a 5 foot-pound torque difference and 7 horsepower difference. So
And that's with the exhaust intake.
exhaust intake and
tube.
Yeah. So that's a big difference. But I mean, and then the band is better. So we'll go back to your other machine for comparisons. Cut that thing off. Right, so your other machine. Right, the band. I mean, realistically, they're very similar, but the dark blue is your other machine. Look how much it gaps it,
Right.
and it holds the power for a good extended period of time. So it holds it for a lot longer, obviously, you know.
You got the same lid off 40.
Oh, I'm pretty sure, yeah. We could do that. So, I mean, that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if the FCI really is, necessary or not. As I'm saying, I wonder if doing some motor work, doing what works the best. Because sometimes dynamically, it's not always about some of the things we think. So maybe a ProFlow kit might be better. Might keep that torque numbers really good, or not. I mean,
Right.
you already have one FCI. I mean, we just steal it from the other bike anyways. Doesn't matter.
Oh, I got one for this.
Oh, you got one already coming. Oh,
I already have it.
Well, you
I
already
had it for a year.
Oh, you had it for a year. Okay, well, never mind then.
Ready to rock.
That's like if the filter on this thing is really big, and then the way it's taking the air in is from the back. So for all you at home that are playing at home, how to pull this thing straight up. And so this thing literally takes the air from the back. So it's having to fight itself. So it literally has to suck the air through this
Back of
channel.
the seat.
Right. So it makes sense. You take the lid off. I mean, yeah. It's
Should be facing this way with two scoops.
well,
coming out.
they were probably thinking about the dirt part. The dirt. You get dirt in that part, and the filter on this thing is. I mean, it's a pretty big filter.
Yeah, I looked at it. It kind of looks like a ProFlow.
It does. That's pretty stockish to me.
No, it's stock. If it was ProFlow, it'd have a big aluminum flange around
Yep.
it.
I've seen some other companies doing like a similar kind of deal like ProFlow, and it wasn't plastic. Like YOZ, like a hard plastic, and it worked pretty good. So, all right, well, let's see what this unleash some more off this beast.
Big 40.
I mean, it might. anything's possible. Go back to your other. Alright, this guy, make sure we're saving on the right guy. Yep. Okay. Don't need any earmuffs, that's pretty funny.
No.
That is funny.
Gamer friendly.
No, this is one of the quietest tuning sets I've ever had. Their dyno system, it's like a rabbit. You can sneak up on a rabbit. Oh, wait, hold on, we got a little something in there. Oh, snap! Put the parking brake, that works? Oh, crap.
No, it don't.
Oh, it don't work, don't work.
We'll be gone tomorrow afternoon anyway.
Alright, so that's what's good about doing some, extra testing and stuff like that. So really, with the dyno tires on, it actually made more horsepower. So we lost horsepower, but we gained in torque
Oh, but the
with the lid off. So right, so before we were seeing, and that makes more sense. Now we're getting back to kind of like you can start averaging your numbers, all that stuff. So we saw, we'll take off your other machine. So just the lid on, lid off. Go to a bigger graph scale. So red is the last pass.
Okay.
So you can see where it really drops on power. Funny. Because we don't have as much load as you're supposed to with the stock tires. So, it makes, some people are like, that doesn't make any sense, but it does make sense. The stock tires keep the load consistent. That's why we took the lid off, then it consistently goes up.
But the torque peaked out a little higher.
The torque did peak out higher. It did, actually.
What's that torque number?
28.
Damn.
So we had, just outshined it right at 6 grand. So, and it actually did hold a little bit. It held the torque for a little bit higher, but then also the torque falters down just like the horsepower.
Probably starts leaning out really bad right there.
Actually I can't remember if it did. Yeah, it was a little bit leaner for longer. But then literally at the end of this thing's run, it just rides to the top of the 13.1. So really with literally dropping in a tuner, completely stock, this thing could actually make we could probably see 40 horsepower. Just with a tuner, just like you would see, with tuning like on a YMC. When I've done that, I've seen about these kind of numbers. Literally just from dropping in a Vortex, 36, 37, so this is about right, with the lid on, with the P shooter. And literally, just like if you take the P shooter off, it actually drops in power, like with the stock ECU. If you tune it, it actually does help, but you have to tune it for the YMC, at least with the Vortex.
Right.
But this is actually, running pretty good, so realistically not bad, respectable. There's definitely plenty to unearth in there, so last pass, so we're saying closer to like the FCI, so really about almost a 10 horsepower difference between the two bikes. So, and literally, what did we say we had? 28, 32, that's a 4 foot-pound torque difference, so that's a lot. That's huge on a bike. That's a lot, so we have a lot of ground to make up on this, so. And both of them not having ported heads, none of that stuff. The other bike, no porting.
Right.
Just stock cylinder 450, all that stuff. So, cool.
Well, I want to try an RP on this one.
You want to do an RP on this one?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Right. So you want to, honestly, realistically too, like power numbers, like what would be really cool to see is an RT or a Rossier. And the reason I'm saying the Rossier is the Rossier has always been a better out of the gate than it makes the power numbers better out of the gate. And that's really where this motor shines, or at least where these motors are going that way. Now we've had 2 back-to-back to, see.
Right.
So, obviously, however you get, obviously anything's going to be better than this. Even the Yoshi was obviously bad. Well, it was definitely bad. Well, no, this was better than what was on the other one. The other one, it was bad. There was nothing left of it.
That's right.
Whatever What exhaust was on the other thing?
I don't even know.
I don't remember. It was something that was just, I don't even know.
I ain't seen the bike in a year. This is last week was the first time I've seen it in almost a year.
I'm sorry, man.
No,
it's
it hasn't been a year, but it was.
It was a while. It was getting close.
I forgot what it looked like.
Me too. It's a couple times I had to put it off in the corner. I was like, you're in timeout, you know? It was bad. It was really bad, to be honest. It was pretty funny. Well, it wasn't funny on the times I was upset, but you know, I was like, bro. No, but this is a great base to start with, and then go from there. There's a lot of potential there. I mean, easily, you know, like a chain. You could gain on a chain, you know.
Yeah, that chain is ate up already.
I mean, it's still a stock one.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I wouldn't doubt it either. You know, just stupid stuff. I mean, but obviously once it's all done and done right and all that. Actually, another question to look at I didn't think about was if this produces the same speed as your other machine. Because the dyno also tracks the same.
How fast?
Well, it also tracks the miles per hour. So now we're on the right tires. This is the tires the dyno's supposed to run.
Right.
You know, that way we get the most, so at least the accuracy for you know, the grip to the rollers, which we need, and consistent numbers, that's all. It's the biggest thing is the consistency. You know, numbers are numbers, but at least consistency for all the other tracking. So, that'd also tell us too if your other bike has a different gear ratio or something, like a different front sprocket or I don't know either, you know?
It stores all that?
It does. So this thing peaked out on, so really it moves faster on the lid off. So the lid off made the most horsepower, respectable torque with the lid on, and peaked out at 73-ish miles per hour.
Okay.
Or almost 73 miles per hour, but something right there. And this was a little under that, like right above 72. So it's like now going into increments. So we'll go to your other machine, which in a sense is a little bit on the slower side, because the YFZ is about in the 80s, or
Okay.
like 80 something, like in the low 80s. So that would also make a lot of sense on certain things. There we go. So your other machine is geared up. Now also too could also be the fact of having the tuner too helps keep it going, because I can feel this thing, it dies like right at 10.
Right, you said the other one kept pulling.
And the other one keeps on pulling and pulling and pulling until it really hits the ignition. Like the ignition cut hits hard. So, but there's no point. Your other bike, so again, until we get a tuner on this one, or another PC6, this one keeps pulling to about 6, 7, so 78. The other, this one right now is 73, so about 5 mile per hour difference. So your other bike is even top end wise faster.
Easy enough to count the sprockets when we get back.
Right. I don't believe it. I believe it's stock gearing also, but also the tuner can make that big of a difference. Because now the motor has the power to keep pulling.
On a revs higher, if the revs higher, it's going to go faster.
Right. Well, there's no limiter change.
Right.
So this is still, the limiter's still by the stock ECU on these, because we don't have a standalone ECU. This is just a piggyback.
Right.
But we have the potential to get all the way to the rev limit. So we're not fuel cutting only until we get to ignition cut. So actually, the clutch on this one feels better.
Yeah, no.
Maybe I wonder if the basket on the is getting a little notchy. That's probably it. Man, I'm telling you, I started getting some arm pump, especially that last moto, because they were back to back.
Right.
Literally, we went, then you guys went, then we went again. I was like, oh man.
It was a quick turnaround.
Yeah, it was quick. I was like, man, I haven't felt some of that in a minute. Plus fighting that beast with those tires.
Yeah, well, they had a fishing tournament to get to.
They had a fishing tournament? I mean, hey, if I would have stood, I was thinking about it. I forgot my pole, man. I was thinking about doing it too, you know?
They had to grab that fishing
I
tournament.
should have, man. The white shoe was ready to go, you know. And we were just going to be there for the day, so we were pretty cooked. It was hot, and it was hotter the next day, so.
Yeah, it was really hot.
But no, this guy, she's running good, so. Okay, so we got some good data.
Good ball of clay to work with.
Yeah, there's a good ball of clay. Yes, I feel this should be a lot better. And then the time. I know that's what you look at, the time frames. And it's gonna show that it's quicker, but it's really not, because the MOS power is longer on the other one, so the time is gonna last longer.
Right.
The time duration. We can't really use that for mapping until we get to running the
putting the tuner and everything else.
Tuner, so that. Then when we can see the full usage of the power band, or of the RPMs, because your other machine dives way past the 10. Like literally, I know it goes into 11. So when you zoom in on it, so I remember seeing it going, and this was dropping off literally right before 10,000 or 10.5. So like 10.3 is about its limit. That's all she's got. She's like, hey buddy, you're pushing way too far.
So she was in the pocket. She wasn't a complete pig first time.
No, yeah, not terrible.
You gotta remember, we're comparing this bike to bikes that are 10 years young or
younger, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I should probably actually jump and grab what do I got here? So here's another.
I don't know if you have a stock dyno on my YFC before we did anything.
I do on my other computer.
I think I put everything on and then I brought it.
Yes. Yeah. No. I think you already had. Yeah. You already had stuff. But I have another YFZ here that has work on it. So this one has work. Has everything but cams. And this is on another YFZ, a stock YFZ. Intake, exhaust, running race gas, and you can see, yeah, the horsepower curve is way higher, you know. But look how long it takes to see that horsepower on the YFZ compared to like your other machine at 45.
Right.
So yeah, there are a 2 horsepower difference. That's what I was saying. The money is down low. The power, look, all this power is right there. Yeah, the YFZ does outshine it on way top end, but I don't know, man. I mean, when you can shift to the next gear, I mean, you're going to keep on pulling away. So
Right.
So the sooner you shift gears, the sooner you get there. I mean, and that's the way I rode your other machine. You know, I was like, okay, well, this is the way it's feeling. I know what the power graph is showing. I know what a YFZ is. I know what an LTR is. I know what an Honda is. You know, so I know I need to be in the highest gear possible to keep going and keep getting around the track where I need to be. And then she did. So that's a big. You know, like 2 totally different worlds. And like looking at the torque curve, look how much the torque curve is on the green is the KFX. Isn't that funny? Green is KFX, blue is Yamaha, of course. And obviously this is something that's much newer. This is from like a 23 or whatever.
Right.
And I know it had a DASA pipe, had a DASA, FCI, and a Vortex. You know, and obviously we had none of the above. A Yoshi and
Yoshi, a
PC
Power Commander, and
Power Commander, yeah. And
FCI.
FCI, yeah. So pretty apples to apples, but definitely a much bigger jump on power, and we get to that max torque much faster.
Oh yeah, it stays up there longer too.
It stays up there. No, the Yamaha will carry through, but it's really dropping hard. So,
right.
And that's when the horsepower factor takes over. But the Yamaha takes every bit of all of its RPMs.
Well, that's what I noticed on the track too. It's like you could come into Avatar and you'd start gapping them.
Yes, the gap.
And there's long straightaways on the track, so by the time they'd start catching up to you, it's too late. You're in the braking zone, and
you're in the braking zone, right? Right. And I mean, literally, when you compare, you know, so yes, obviously the horsepower, you know, there's more horsepower here, and it starts to fall off sooner. But that's the point already that, you know, 8,000 RPMs, 9,000 RPMs. That's about where I was shifting, 8,000 to 9,000 RPMs on your other bike, and I was back into the torque power again. So no, I think only for once the track really got dry though with those tires, then I actually used like third and some of the really tight hairpin. I'm talking about they were tight hairpin turns, but other than that, I was using the fourth and clicking fifth on the way out. And she was going. There's no way around it. She was. Well, the whole shot video, you can see that it jumped. It literally was just. And honestly, I didn't gas it that hard. I just held it.
Sprung out of the gate. If you gassed any harder, the wheels would have been on your ass.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, well, you know, it jumped. It definitely jumped. The second whole shot was really good. I don't think I was above half throttle.
Right.
Waiting for it. I would think I was a little under half. I was waiting for it, just trying to, you know, remember how to do a whole shot again. You know, make sure I was in the right gear. You know, okay, you know. First is here, neutral's here, and second is here.
That's it.
Actually, on the first one, the first hole shot, I put in first to pull it to the gate, and I went to go find second. I was like, wait a minute, am I second or neutral? I'm looking around like, oh shoot. I see Kenny's about to take, I was like, oh, where? And I didn't know what gear I was in.
Right.
I didn't know I was a second, third, first. So I kind of had a senior citizen moment there. So that was fun, but good to see differences. I mean, Maybe these guys from Kawasaki knew something we didn't know, man. Maybe you've been trying to tell me something this whole time that I didn't know. You know, You know,
Next step is order some parts, and
yeah.
I got parts coming already for the chassis, and then
Okay.
we'll get together and order a pipe, and I'll get another power commander.
Yeah, we definitely did the power commander for sure. So all
deal.
good. That's the other bike. Those are all clean numbers. But man, the torque on that thing is just instantaneously. So then when you get a chance to ride the other one, I think you're gonna like that. a lot,
Well, it's
so.
going to Tennessee.
All right. Well, shoot. Let me know.
Good deal.
Let me know when she's in Tennessee. So I'll ready to rip that thing on the woods, man. I actually want. So if it did that good on the track, which was never, there was no intention for track. I wonder how it's gonna do in the woods. Could be pretty good.
Better start grooming some trails.
It might be your new favorite trail bike.
It might be.
Well, the suspension's pretty good, so you haven't rode it. I mean, it's almost worth riding the two of them. I guarantee as soon as you feel the suspension on it, you're gonna like that. The
Right.
travel, I could definitely tell the travel it felt very endless, and it was just right too. But
It
it,
needed shocks.
and it was progressive too. So as it went down, it never once bottomed out for me.
Right.
Never. So and that's on MX. And it wasn't meant for that. This is supposed to be recreational.
Yeah.
Recreational setup. I mean, I was recreating. I mean, she did good. I think maybe even a little softer, almost. When I went harder on the suspension, it actually didn't feel better. I went back, I softened it, and it even felt better. So maybe even softening it some more, especially on the trails.
Right.
But the ground clearance was,
Yeah, it'll be good for up there. Test, like I said, test the track and hit the trails.
yeah. Well, I mean, a couple of my advantages was I went straight for the water on the track because they were standing water. I went straight forward, and nobody else went for it. I was cutting track right there. And you never lost traction.
No, that was a great moment.
No, those tires were pretty good. I didn't expect that. Those are pretty good tires. I think
It was a good setup for the conditions.
it was
of that day.
it was great. Actually, it turned out good. The ground busters, I've never tried those before. They were you said they were pretty good, and I was like the knobs felt good on them. I wasn't so sure about the fronts.
Right.
I thought good on the rears, but the fronts they steered really good. So I want to see on the clay next. So that was pretty good.
Yeah, they're probably stuck on hard stuff.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so because the knobs are pretty. Like you could grab the knobs and you could twist them pretty good. So
Right.
I think they'll actually hook really good. It might burn the fronts a little bit, maybe if you're turning a lot, but they actually they steered better than I thought. Way better. I was actually impressed. So I'm not gonna lie. So all right, we'll get her a strap. Awesome, man. Cool.
All right, so that was pretty cool. We did a bunch of different dyno passes, obviously. We did it with the stock tires on there. We did it with the airbox off. That made a little bit of a difference there. Then we put the slicks on. Slicks made a difference, and then with the airbox off again, just to see what little bit of changes we got. So I mean, all in all, horsepower-wise, it's like right under the YFZ. Torque number, a little bit better than a YFC, which is basically what we came up with anyway, as far as what we were surmising. So that's it for now. Hopefully that was fun. Now the next move is to try and get one of the buggies over there to Mats and get that dynoed. Now that the race season's over, I'm hoping I can just slide my Earth Dog over there and slap them slicks on there and see what she pulls, because I'd be really curious to see what one of the MBX motors are doing. So if you need parts, go to gotbuggies.com. If you like what you see, hit the like button, and if you haven't already subscribed, you might also want to go check out Sarmiento Motorsports page if you're into these. If you're into race quads and whatnot, he's got some excellent videos on YFZ parts comparisons and stuff like that. He just did an intake shootout. He's got an exhaust shootout. What's kind of nice about it is he does everything on the dyno, so there's no guessing or whatnot. Dyno doesn't lie. Dyno tells you exactly what's going on. So kind of learned that from this video. So, all right, guys, till next time, JD's out.